this week on Stay Out of My Fridge.
But I did go through my refrigerator, and I noticed one of the items in my refrigerator was my favorite salami.
Ooh.
My wife had pushed it so far back into the fridge that the top had come off.
Oh, no.
And this salami is the driest piece of big old thing that is now shriveled up in size piece of meat you've ever seen. I was like, wait, what if I rehydrate it? No, it tastes like refrigerator is what it's going to taste like. So you don't get that good just by being naturally gifted at shooting a basket. You have to practice. I would listen to music like we all do, and I enjoyed this feeling of woe is me, sad. I had to get over myself. I had to get out of that.
Man, you didn't say anything. It was awkward. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for something funny to get me giggling, but it's good. The voice you're hearing is me. It's Matt. It's Beard Loss. Joining me, as always, Brandon J. McDermott.
I had a cough right when you were hitting start, and I was it wouldn't let me mute, so I'm holding it until it popped on, and I was able to cough. But good morning. Good to be with you.
What a good guy, though, because not only did you cough, but you also turned your head. Is that from your childhood?
Yes. In fact, there's a nurse right over here. Rebecca, come say hi.
Can you go ahead and milk this prostate? Do kids still have to do that? I have kids in school, but I don't have a boy, so I don't know if they obviously I'm wondering if they still have to do that. But not only that, that was obviously awkward as a kid, but you know what I mean? You get why you did it. But the scoliosis check, that was always a weird thing for us too. I don't know if you guys had to do that in gym class or no.
Where you bend down and they look or feel you.
Yeah.
We also went to the nurse's office and into the closet and had to take our shirt off and bend down so she could check. It was a very private thing.
For scoliosis, or
I think it was to check our spine for something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, because our gym teachers, where I was, obviously a really small school, they doubled as health teachers, so I guess they were certified to check for scoliosis. Thankfully, the gym teachers did not volunteer to, do the turn your head and cough as well. There was an actual physician that came in there.
Do you know what I found out?
Ooh.
I found out that the reason you have to turn your head and cough is just so you don't cough on them.
Yeah, 100%. It does nothing. Nope, it does nothing. Like what was the old thing that a lot of people said when you're choking or something? Pat your back or stand. I know there was always something stupid that people around here would always say when you put your hands up. It doesn't really open your airwaves. If you're coughing, you're not choking. The air is there.
Remember when I don't know if you played baseball. Back when you were there. When we were playing sports, the coaches would always say, put your hands on your head when you're breathing. So we'd always, I don't know if it helped at all.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing that as well, too. Yeah, it's going to open your airwaves. No, the problem is I'm out of shape, coach. And you just ran us for 7 miles. I can't breathe. I don't think this works. Maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not anybody that's listening, probably screaming at your device, be like, yeah, it does, you actual idiot. Tell us that we're idiots. I mean, obviously, we are not medical professions. I'm not professional or really anything, turns out. But hey, I don't know. But either way, Brandon's back from vacation. You're probably going, where the hell is Yuban? Yuban is going to be off this week. He's a little under the weather. We'll leave it at that, and hopefully he's back next week. If not, we'll let him get back up to whatever 100% is for that guy, and we're going to back on the show. So if you miss him, tell him how much you miss him in the comments, or go to his social media. I don't think he posts a lot anymore, but. Yeah, T's and P's for old Yuban Whakinov. And not only the thoughts and prayers, if you're a religious person, you can do it, but I'm pretty sure he'd rather see a different kind of T's and P's that are parts on women.
We're definitely thinking about you, though, buddy. Hope you're doing well, Yuban.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and I've been chatting with him today. Hopefully, he's going to be fine. He's going to be all right. What's the old saying with the cockroaches? Even cockroaches can survive a nuclear fallout or something, which I found out isn't true. That was always a saying. I think that somebody, not obviously Mythbusters. I think they do something else, but I think I remember finding somewhere on the Google world. That's not a thing. They die too.
Did not know that. Thought it was true.
Maybe I'm making that shit up, but I'm pretty sure I heard that the cockroaches do also die in a nuclear fallout.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. I also thought, too, how everybody's like, obviously, global warming, it's so bad. Oh, my God, all the polar ice caps are melting. Which I'm not saying that that's a good or bad thing, but it's always in equilibrium. So say that the one ice cap is melting, then the other one's growing, which I didn't realize that. And they're saying it's okay. If the world's getting warmer, it's okay. It's when the world starts getting much colder, that's when we really have something to worry about. That was on like a pretty like popular, I'm pretty sure, podcast that somebody that very very into that stuff saying that, obviously things are getting warmer, but all that's doing is it's making the seasons kind of shift a little bit. So I know that I've seen over the last couple of years, fall is a little bit later, which means spring lasts a little later, summer and all of the ones are just lasting a little, they're shifting a little bit. We're still getting the four seasons in certain areas, except for Florida. They just go hot, hotter, like real hot, like can't go outside hot.
Yeah, I've noticed here, and it's anecdotal, and it's just the last 10 years. I don't know what, but um, I've noticed our winters haven't been as strong.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple of winters where it's like the biggest snow we got was like 8 inches, and we got
Yeah,
one of those.
that's really
But
big though.
I've also noticed that, to your point, yeah, it's like the heart of winter here doesn't really hit in until December, January, where it
Mm-hmm.
used to be October,
Yeah.
or November. We'd be Thanksgiving, we'd be getting heavy snows, and
Yep.
now it's like, well, we're not getting those snows until December, January, and the hard freeze isn't happening until February,
Yep.
which would happen earlier. Anyway,
Yeah. I mean, we a couple of years ago we were camping on Thanksgiving. We were out camping, like cooked a turkey or like a small bird or something over the fire. Like we were out camping at Thanksgiving, like you said. 10, 15 years ago, we already got a couple of feet of snow. People are snowmobiling and having a hard time traveling on Thanksgiving. We're out there camping because it's like 50, 55. It's pretty wild. I'm not mad about it. And you know what? It just means that it's flannel season for that much longer. You know what I mean? So you guys can check out Vermont flannel. Start loading up on them. What I truly love and I've been taking advantage of, they do a barn sale, which I think is a kind of a cool name for just saying more or less clearance. Because who wants to say clearance, Clarence? But they do a barn sale, so you get in there and you can get some stuff cheaper. Maybe it's an $88 flannel you're getting for like $70. Plus, rumor has it, use code BeardLaws24, you're going to save some money too. But I was telling the boys on Triple T, I've been promising I was going to get one of those lightweight flannels, and I got one, and I'm not kidding you. Not only are they physically lighter, like it's lighter than this T-shirt, a long sleeve flannel. And I
really,
wore it all day when me and the wife went to Lake Placid. And for anybody that doesn't know, or it's any place that is like near mountains, it's a lot of hills and a lot of walking. And I did not sweat or feel like hot. Like how you could just have too much on and you're like, God damn, I got to
oh
take.
yeah,
I mean, was I sweating? Yes, because I'm a big boy and I'm out of shape. But it wasn't from that, and it was comfy. So if anybody's thinking like Burley's going to get a couple of them because he's in Tejas, so they get pretty hot down there. So I'm curious because he was like, I can't wear a goddamn flannel. It's 90 with a 98% humidity. I'll die. I'm like, yeah, you got a fall one on. So we're gonna get them in some lightweight ones.
So if we were to go to Matt Beardlaw's closet, would we be?
Mm-hmm.
What would your Al Borland collection look like?
Oh shit! Right now, so it's funny because I just moved, just built an addition, so I have a new room. So I went from like a 5 foot by 5 foot closet to a 4.5 foot by 3 foot closet. So now it's just shelving all over. So the top shelf is like my suit jackets, and then dress shirts, and then like my Hawaiian, anything that's like a button up shirt. You know what I mean? So like I got the pirate Hawaiian collection that I'm starting to collect, and then on top of that is all my jerseys. So I got the hockey, football, basketball jerseys, and then under that to the left is like a little drawer where I keep my underwear, my socks, all that good stuff, and then to the right is my Vermont flannels.
So what you're saying is you're a fan of Al Borland, but you're also a fan of Jimmy Buffett.
Hell yeah, with a little mix of Tyler Hansbrough. Oh, that's a reach.
It's a hell of an esoteric reference.
Right.
It's out there.
I wore that jersey yesterday. That's why it was fresh in my head. And I might have had a couple of beverages, and I kept doing
So,
cannonballs in the pool going, I'm Psycho T.
so question for you, and this is not something I subscribe to, so just understand I'm not making judgments. I have a friend who's a well-known
Mm-hmm.
radio guy in Omaha. He's a great guy, and he's been around for decades. He says men don't wear jerseys or cologne.
Ooh.
You should have your own natural musk. Only teenagers should wear cologne. Only young boys should wear cologne. and we shouldn't wear jerseys. I don't subscribe to either of those ideas. What's your idea? What's your thought on that?
So I think it's, and not that it's awkward, but it's a little, now that I'm getting older, I think it's a little bit more weird that grown men or women or anybody wear college football jerseys because they're wearing essentially jerseys of kids. So I think that one maybe is a little bit different. You know what I mean? And then they're going to these sporting events yelling at kids because most of these kids, well, are under the age of 21. So in the lovely state of America, they can't even drink a beverage. But pro sports, I don't know. Don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, have I ever bought a legitimate jersey from an actual company of a sports, like a Pittsburgh Pirates or Penguins? No. Did I potentially find some from another country that was way cheaper and they look just as good? Maybe, allegedly. But I don't know. I think I don't see any problems with that. I don't know why. I'm curious, I guess, why he says that we shouldn't wear jerseys.
Well, he thinks it's not manly. It is, you're wearing another man's jersey. You might as well just be saying, I'm a fan of his, which I have got no problem with.
Yeah.
But so I think from his perspective, it's a not a thing a man should do is wear another man's jersey.
What if it was a jersey with your name and your favorite number on it? Because I do have I have two Beard Laws jerseys.
I think that's different. I think he would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a couple jerseys upstairs, and the way that I see it is, in how I'm wearing my jerseys, is if they're dead or retired, I have no problem wearing their jersey as much. If I don't like this idea of, like, I got to buy the newest jersey of the newest rookie on my team, like, I won't be that guy. I like throwback jerseys, and I think, listen, I don't know what he would say, but I think it's a stupid idea, first of all, to say nobody can wear jerseys. It's dumb. How would you feel? Would you go out? I don't know if you're a fan of this person. Would you wear a Caitlin Clark jersey?
Hell yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a big ass fucking 4 or 5X jersey.
It wouldn't be a woman's brand, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd rock one in a heartbeat. I actually looked into them, but they were very expensive, and it turns out I wasn't gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, well, you know what? Before I jump into that, I was going to say something about the WNBA stuff, but I kind of agree with his point a little bit. It is awkward. Like, say you were on the team, you're not gonna rock, your teammate's jersey. You're not gonna wear a jersey from another. I can kind of see, like, hey, that's that guy's jersey. That's his number. Why are you wearing it? Well, the exception is, what if you share a same last name? You know what I mean? Because there's some McDermotts in football. Imagine like you rocking. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, if there was, my same last name on a jersey, I would buy it. I don't care what team, what his number is. And like, I grew up not jealous, but kind of like, oh man, my buddy, his last name was McGuire, and there was a McGuire at the time in Madden when we were living together and playing Madden a lot. So when he did a custom player, they knew how to say his name because it was a chosen name in there. I'm like, God damn it. So he would always, linebacker, number 55, McGuire. And I'm like, you son of a bitch, they don't know my name.
So, interesting that you bring that up. I think that's funny. I was gonna say something. Here's what I was gonna say. So I'm not sure where it's like where you're at upstate, where you're at. I know on the East Coast it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
With there's not a lot of college football fans in New England, right? There's not a lot of huge programs out there. You got Boston College, you got Penn State, I guess, Rutgers,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia up there.
Yep.
And so that said, I don't know if you guys are huge into college football. I'm a big Nebraska fan. I didn't go to the University of Nebraska. My point with that is there are a lot of fans to you're saying you're a fan of this player or something like that. There's the thought and the idea out there is like, why are you a fan of Nebraska? What are you talking about? You didn't go to college at Nebraska. They're not your school. You're not an alum. Why are you a fan of them? I think college football is a great example, especially in the South and the Midwest, of teams like Nebraska, teams like Tennessee and Georgia, where none of these people went to this university. They didn't go to this school. They're not putting in money as donors or boosters or anything. All they're doing is being a fan of a school that represents their state name or a team their dad liked or something like that. College football is a weird thing in our country, but I love it.
Yeah, and I've really tried getting into it, and like you said, because there's not. I mean, there's Syracuse University, which is about 2.5 hours from me. They're not considered major by any means in football, but they've had a couple of years. Back in the day when I lived in the area and I was going to games with my father and stuff, they had McNabb, they had Harrison, they had Freeney. Like they had some really good talent on their teams. They were ranked in the country, top 5, top 10. It was pretty cool to be in the Carrier Dome. But
I miss Big East football. I miss
yeah,
that Boston College, Miami. You know,
basketball too. Big East
oh
basketball,
shit! I mean, you're
man.
talking about Syracuse. They're a basketball blue blood.
Yep,
So
yep. They're actually from. I think what I just saw something on Instagram is they're actually getting Carmelo's son. I think he's going to Syracuse.
interesting.
Yep, I guarantee you he can't be like Dad, but if he's even decent enough, but yeah, that's wild. So there is a McDermott. Obviously, there's the Sean McDermott for the Bills. He doesn't have a jersey. There's a long snapper, Kevin McDermott. Looks like he's wearing a purple jersey, but there's also a Connor McDermott. He played for the Jets, but I think now he's a New England Patriot.
You want to have some fun?
Yeah, like, yeah.
Search Brandon McDermott, and you have to go down a little bit. But before I'm saying this tongue in cheek, so please
It,
understand.
I know what though. Before I'm a. It's pretty cool that you're the first thing that pops up in your internet personality. There's a lot about you. That's pretty cool.
Well, as you know, I've pushed
But
hard to
yes,
like do all this stuff, but it used to be back when I was a journalist about 8-10 years ago. I was always like, I gotta get my name bigger, because you want to be known. But
hmm
it was me and this guy named Brandon McDermott who had a band in Texas, and it was the Brandon McDermott Band. And so you would
yes.
always see when you search Brandon McDermott, it would come Brandon McDermott, radio, journalist, Brandon McDermott Band. And it would just be like one after the other. Well, now I've kind of pushed him off page
How
one.
have you ever hit him up and been like, hey, any chance to
No,
book a collab? Because that'd be cool. Brandon J. McDermott does a collab with the Brandon McDermott Band. That'd be
yeah,
cool.
that'd be great. But and I always thought that was funny to me. But
It is funny because it's your stuff. Then there's Brandon McDermott Chewy. I don't know
Chewy,
if, yeah, if there's a Facebook page and it's Brandon.McDermott. And when you Google it, it's on page 2. At least on my browser, it's Brandon McDermott, and then it says Chewy. So there's that, and then it goes. So it's a full page of you, and then 3 down, at least on mine, is the Brandon McDermott Band. Check them out. They're a staple along the Texas Gulf Coast. Galveston, Texas, native Brandon McDermott Band has been bringing their exciting brand of Texas music to stages all over something. But yeah, Chewy. I don't know. Must just be maybe that's that dude's nickname, or maybe it's a fake account pretending to be you.
interesting.
I do see Abandoned Brandon. Make sure you guys check it out. Abandoned Brandon, a memoir. You guys can get it on Amazon. It's only $12.99. 30-day return in stock. Plus, I know a guy. Oh, there's a men's assistant basketball coach. The COSGiants.com has Brandon McDermott listed over there. That's in California, I guess. College of Sequoias. Lots of Brandon McDermott. The only person that I've known that have had the same name as me is a guy from Australia. He was in the Australian Army and stuff, and I connected with him a while back on Facebook, and we chatted for a little bit. So I was like, listen, I'm going to own the domain. Are you cool with it? I'm going to own my name, all versions of our name. He's like, yeah, dude, I don't care. I'm in the Army. I don't need a domain. What's a domain? This was a while ago. And their toilets flushed the wrong way. You're checking out Chewy, aren't you?
No, I'm looking at this
Oh,
Department of Health and Human Performance and Recreation, University of Arkansas. Brendan P. McDermott.
oh,
Brendan P. McDermott.
Brendan P. Shout out Brendan P.
Dr. McDermott is an associate professor who's been teaching athletic training and exercise science, definitely not me, for 20 years.
Yeah, you had a
That's
cool
funny.
interview with Cross the Bridge. Is it
That was
Cross the
one of the
Bridge
first ones
coaching?
I did 3 or 4 years ago. It was an old work buddy of mine. His wife did a podcast, and he reached out to me because he had
Well, it
the
hits up on that SEO pretty dang good, so good for them.
Yeah, it does.
Holy cow.
And just some lady that does a podcast.
That's pretty sweet. So what I was going to say about the WNBA, they had the All-Star game or whatever, and I think they did Team USA versus non-Team USA, like Caitlin Clark and some other girls. And I'm pretty sure Team USA lost. I haven't been able to look it up, but I'm fairly certain that Team USA loses to some WNBA stars, which kind of makes you. Yeah, Team USA loses to Team WNBA and sparks deja vu, but the Olympic team isn't panicking, according to USA Today,
That's
which is pretty.
wild.
Yeah, one of the girls. I'm going to say this really wrong, not intentionally. Erica, I think, Arike, Ogun Bawala or whatever. I think scored like 30 something points in the second half. She had herself a game. But yeah, they're not panicking. But either way, from what I heard too, it was like a really good game. It was like 117 to 109. Like I guess it was just pretty exciting. And kind of the reason why I'm saying that, baseball just got off their all-star break. You know what I mean, from the home run derby to the game and stuff. And it had one of the highest rating all-star games of like anything for a while. Like pretty good. I love that. I love what baseball does. I hate what football does, and I don't love the NBA one as well. Like it's just not fun to watch, and it's pretty cool. Not only for the WNBA to kind of been getting the amount of publicity that it's had the last couple of years, but to actually have a really good game. And for me, I think it's a stupid thing because there's a lot of like guys and people in the world that go, it's a WNBA, I'm not going to watch it. I don't know if you ever played sports against a very, very talented female, because me and some buddies, they went to Clarkson University, so they would do like open runs and stuff, and a couple of them got asked, and I had the chance to do this a couple of times, to play versus the women's college basketball team, just kind of like an intramural, just another way for them to kind of potentially be a little bit better. Granted, this was 20 years ago, and those girls were friggin' good. And this was D3 college, you know what I mean? Like physical, strong, played well, like not scared of guys like me.
Well, one of the things I'll say is I haven't worked out in probably 20 years. In a sense of like trying to be better at sports and whatever. Uh, these women, these athletes are athletes. They're training every single day. They're making sure their nutrition is top notch. They are finely tuned machines for their sports. Even Division III golf. I mean, like, I'm sure there's exceptions to that rule, but you know what I'm saying? Like, these people are training every day to be the best at what they do. And if you're a good athlete, that translates to a pickup game of basketball or even playing baseball or whatever. So yeah, I don't have off the top of my head an example of here's one I remember like, oh my God, but I've definitely played against some girls where I was like, she belongs on this basketball court as much as I do, if not 10 times more. But then again, you also forget that just because they're women doesn't mean you're automatically better than them, right? Because again, they're athletes. They're trying to do better. They've got natural talent. They've got this. They've got that. They've spent the years pushing and getting better in training and et cetera. And I can beat anybody in eating a bag of family Doritos in less than 10 minutes. But other than that, I got nothing.
And they have a lot more opportunity to not only play but train, not even in the leagues and stuff that's popped up. And this is something that I'm kind of more aware now because I've been involved with coaching, girls and stuff like that in the last little bit. But they have the internet. You know what I mean? 20 years ago, you couldn't just get on the internet, find a routine, find things, find open gyms, find all of this stuff. And I'm seeing local athletes that are going to there's a guy, Chris Sargent out here. He has 3S training. And he's taking these local high school and college athletes and training them in different workouts that I've never even seen before. Things that you can do with a towel, things you can do with a heavy ball. And he's really taking some of these local athletes and really getting them to excel. And a lot of them are females. And you start looking at his athletes, they're on state championship teams. They're on section winning teams. Like he's just, putting, kind of outside the box on some stuff he learned, putting it into some local stuff and seeing some results. There's a girl that I saw play a little bit ago and I was like, God damn, I wish my daughter could play like that. Like she doesn't play, and this is what I tell the girls that I coach. Like she doesn't play like a girl. She plays like an athlete. And that's what I tell the girls that I coach. Like, don't play like a girl. And this is no offense to being a girl, but be an athlete. You know what I mean? Don't put yourself in one, little area. Be an athlete. And I mean, just little stuff like us, like a lot of us, we can naturally, and growing up watching the sports and watching local sports seems like a lot of times when the girls go to make a pass, they almost have to jump stop, make a pass. You know what I mean? You're starting to see a lot more of the athleticism where, they can just do a pass on the fly, not have to do that jump stop. And you're starting, none of the girls that I'm coaching are going into sixth grade. And there's a couple of mine that are able to do that, but it's taken a lot of time and practice. And there's a couple out here that are just friggin' smooth.
In watching area high school basketball here, I think is a great example of it, because I can't, and a little bit to the college level too. One thing I noticed with girls basketball is a lot of the catch and shoot. It takes them a moment to like set themselves up before they shoot. Right, they're getting in there. There's no quick shoot. I know that's probably a silly example.
No, but it makes sense. And you know why I think that is? Girls overthink everything that I've seen in athletics. You know what I mean? Their brains are going.
But to see an Angel Reese and a Caitlin Clark, who are, I mean, those are just two examples. Those aren't the only ones.
Right.
But who, when they're playing, when you're talking about being an athlete, playing like an athlete, it's just they are so fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like Caitlin Clark. Like the basketball is an extension of what she's doing. It's the extension of who she is on the court. It's like she jumps on the court like a guitarist jumps picks up a guitar, and it becomes part of them. It's not there's no awkward movements. I'll give you an example, and I know I'm blabbing on at this point.
Oh, no.
We go on the radio every day. Well, not every day. I haven't been on it 10 days. I've been on vacation. But when I go on the radio in the morning, it's my job to make the people listening in think how easy my job is. It's like watching a baseball game. You see, like we've heard this 100 times. You see all those players pick up the bat, run out there, and or pick up a ball and go out there and pitch, who are like a John Kruk, who was a batter, of course, not a pitcher, or like a names escape me right now. Fernando Venezuela, for example. You've seen back in the day, you saw him pitch. The dude looked like he could be laying bricks. Like he wasn't a pitcher, but the dude was one of the best pitchers of his time. And so it's our job to make people think anybody can do this, but understanding and knowing very well, not everybody can.
No.
And so that's kind of like there's the joke of two friends having dinner with their wives, two radio guys. And one of the radio guys is eating his steak and he's cutting it up and he says, God, it's so easy, our job, what we do every day. We go in there and, we get to talk to celebrities. We get to be on the air. All I have to do is talk. I don't have to type up reports. I don't have to do this. And the wives go to the bathroom for a break, and the radio host, who wasn't talking, looks at the other one and says, you got to stop making it seem like our job isn't hard. The best part about this job is that everybody thinks it's the toughest job and the easiest job at the same time. And there's this mystique around it. And you got to keep that mystique. And I don't know necessarily about that, but to the point of being an athlete, being on the radio, being a musician, like your job is to make it seem so effortless. And Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, both are examples of that. That do that quite well.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that can go on and watch your party line, you know what I mean? And you're doing 8,000 things at once, but like you said, you mean it. How many people are going to be able to, research this, write this down, take notes, and while they have all of this stuff in the back of their brain? But that's why you've done it for so long at such in my opinion, a higher level. You're in a pretty big market, and you've been in some big markets. Like, agree. Can anybody just get on there and talk? Yeah, but is it going to be as fluid? And even like Burley, when we were watching the party line a couple of weeks ago, Burley was like, holy shit, does Brandon make that look easy? There's never uhs or hums or those filler words. Like, it's just, and half the time I think your brain's 8,000 steps ahead, and it's like the Amish horse just knows how to get home. There's things that you do every day that's just so effortless for you, but you're still doing so much that somebody's not going to be able to just, like, I'm not going to be able to go in and be a radio host right out the gate. There's so much stuff that you have. You
would do better than most. In fact, I think you would be quite good, in a very short amount of time. Hosting a podcast like this is so different. But that said, there's a lot of the same tools. Your ability to ad lib intros and outros, I envy. I honestly look up to, because you're really good at it. It seems like it's scripted, and it never is. And so that's the other thing is how can you ad lib and not make it seem like you're blabbing on, but also how can you read from a script and not make it sound like you are? Those are two different skills and very important ones. I try to tell our, all the news reporters that ever worked for me, if I'm hearing you read, President Biden announced on Tuesday that, tell it like you're telling your friend, President Biden announced on Tuesday the signing of the latest treaty with Japan, or whatever. So, the way that it takes practice, but you would do great at it.
Speaking of music, I don't know why this triggered in my... Well, I do know why it triggered in my head, because I went down a rabbit hole. Have you ever heard somebody play a 12-string bass?
No.
Like, really good? There's... So
Never even heard of such a thing.
The wife's family, obviously, is super into music and, playing bands and stuff. And her brother is one of the most talented guitar players I've ever seen. I mean, he could be playing something in, say, like a Scottish tune, hear a commercial, and instinctively just play in that exact tune while being in a different tune. Like, it's just math to him. Like, his brain doesn't work like ours, right? So I saw actually Burley sent me a video of a guy just, look at this 12-string bass. And I'm like, oh man, that sounds awesome. So then it led me down a path, and I found this YouTuber, Charles Berthoud, Berthoud. I'm like, what? Guy's unbelievable. So then I sent it to him, and he's like, oh yeah, this is probably the best bassist in the entire world. And I'm thinking, like, holy cow, like, and he could probably, we probably don't have rights to this, so I don't know how it'll work, but we'll try it out. But either way, he does a whole bass channel, this and that. I'll at least play a little bit of it, but he's able to, like, strum, play the bass line, and play almost like a melody at the same time, while on not only this bass, I mean, he has a whole channel, make sure you guys check it out, but this is just the 12-string bass, and I mean, it's just a massive sound. And again, this is right on his channel. Again, somebody that makes it look effortless. He's strumming, picking, slapping. Dude, right?
First of all, 12-string bass, holy shit. Second of all, yeah, he's great. Even the harmonics he was hitting in there it's very hard to hit a harmonic on a bass like that, because it's so huge strings. But
he's done so many different covers too, and playing like every part of the song on a 4-string bass, and so, like, he is unbelievable. Like, I legit probably watched 45 minutes of all of his different YouTube videos. He's got like 2 million subscribers now. Like, he is unreal. He's honestly probably starting to change music. And one of my favorite videos, me personally, of him is, he goes, can AI really create better music than us or whatever? So we started doing all these like simple, like, give me a bass line for this, then give me a funky bass line, and it would spit it out and he'd play it. And he's like, wow, I'm really moved. And they were so basic. And then he started doing higher end prompts, and it couldn't get anywhere near like a bass line of something that he can do, which is on a whole different level. But it was kind of a cool kind of video of, people that are, we've talked about it on multiple shows about music in AI and stuff like that. And then to see it spit out, somebody actually play it, it kind of opened my eyes up a little bit, differently in the whole AI music thing.
So I got to show you something now, because you brought this up, and I gotta do it.
Do it.
There's this band. Have you heard of Tallulah?
Tallulah? I don't think so.
So got about 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So they're not huge, but they're big.
Are they Australian? Is that little symbol?
I don't.
Or no? Or is that just like an emoji?
I think they're American. I'm pretty sure they're American.
I just couldn't tell what that was from way back.
Yeah, United States.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, but these guys, holy smokes! Can you hear this? Let me know.
I cannot. No, I can't.
But this dude on bass, dude, holy smokes!
so effortless, like you said.
But what's even more impressive than all of that is when they get in here and they'll just do these.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
That's pretty good.
they're two of the whitest dudes you'll ever see, but holy smokes, are they like in the pocket, as they call it?
Yeah, he looks better with a beard too, doesn't he?
Yeah. So anyway, I found them and I just scroll sometimes their shorts because it's like, damn, that was a good one. I wish that was a song.
Right? No,
Some of these are
that's
just
cool.
grooves that they mess with and stuff. So
That's awesome, man. I have a brain like that. You're on a whole different level. I still, to this day, have always had a thing. Maybe you can, have an exception to this rule, but anybody that can skateboard can pretty much be good at anything that they ever want to. I don't know a single person that's been deep, and I'm not saying just get on a skateboard and be able to ride down the road. I'm saying those people that, can drop in, they can do kick flips, they can do stuff, and maybe not, obviously not on like an X Games, Tony Hawk style level, but anybody locally that you've ever seen that can be pretty good or one of the best around here, I guarantee you they've been good at everything. I mean, there's a guy around here that's really good at skateboarding. He ended up becoming like a national arm wrestling champion, a national pool like anything this guy ever touches, he's so good at.
yeah, I had a buddy of mine who we're not friends anymore, but he's a good guy. Used to skateboard, and this dude could play basketball. He could race. He could swim. I mean, this dude was just a naturally talented at everything.
Everything.
Hand-eye coordination, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I mean, I don't want to get in the woods because I know we're going to end the conversation here. But at some point, I want to talk about like the idea of letting. And I was just very esoteric as well, but letting your not talent, your potential die. Like some of the people I've seen in my life that were 10 times more talented than I was, had so much more potential than I had, but never pushed it, never tried it, never shaped it, never honed it, and now they're down the road working at a fill in the blank. What's a bad job you don't want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not trying to make fun of any
No.
stuff, but they never did anything with it, and so it went away. And that's what happens with it. The potential does go away. Talent does die if you don't.
Do you think it's because of like substance? Do these people? Do you think like maybe I got too hard into the booze? Maybe I got into some drugs.
Oh yeah. That's definitely something. And people who are creative tend to. I mean, everybody does really, but tend to have bigger issues with substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me. I eat a lot of food. I mean, that's my drug of choice. And I need to do better at it for health reasons and stuff like this as I get older. But no, I don't necessarily think this was an issue with the individual I'm talking about. Was an issue with substance as much as I think honestly, like there's this. How do I explain it? There's this. When I was about 12 or 13 years old, I used to listen. I was the kind of guy that like threw myself at girls. Like if everybody goes through that when you're a young kid, you do it. And I would court a girl or try to date a girl, and it would look good for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden it would die. I would get so depressed, not real depressed.
But kid,
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I would listen to music like we all do, and I like enjoyed like this feeling of like, woe is me, sad. Like, yeah, I had to get over myself. I had to get out of that. And to that point, what I'm going with that is this guy, he had kind of the same feeling for letting his potential die. Everybody has built him up his whole life. I'm the most talented. I'm the most, and my potential will die. I won't prove it out, but who cares? I've been the most talented ever. And nobody's going to remember. Nobody's going to remember that. Yep. Nobody will remember. And like, I did a video on YouTube a couple days ago, and people are just commenting the worst things like, yeah, you're going to die 30 years before me. And my comment to them is, first of all, stop measuring your happiness in years. And second of all, in 100 years, we'll both be gone, and nobody will remember either of us. So who gives two hoots and a scoot about, because nobody's going to remember you or me, Matt, respectfully, other than our family for the next generation and then after that.
See,
hey, did you hear about Grandpa Matt? So.
Yeah. Oh, I saw Matt on Ancestry. I think I know him later.
Right. So I don't know what it was with this kid, but he just loved the idea that he was the best at everything, this skateboarder, but never lived it out. Never tried to do better. Always was scheming to cut corners and things like that. And you don't get good by cutting corners. Do you know how
No.
Steve Nash got so good at shooting free throws? He shot free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Practice over and over and over again, which is why he shot like 92 or 93%. So you don't get that good just by being naturally gifted at shooting a basket. You have to practice and practice.
You aren't kidding. Yeah, it's a weird thing. And some people they're so good at things that it's so easy that they get bored and they're just like, you know what? I'm gonna just accept that this is my life and I don't feel like moving and maybe it's too much of a challenge and maybe there's just that fear. If you're the best in a small town and then you go to a big town and there's 40 other that are just as good if not better, do I really want to compete to be the best? Or am I content with, hey, I'm the best here? I've seen some things, whether it's sports or art or anything just like that, and they're just content, which isn't a bad thing. Sometimes small town is pretty good. It's a slower life. I've lived both lives. I don't hate it, but yeah, what a weird thing. But let's stay out of my fridge. Should we talk about what's in our fridge or some kind of food? Because I was sitting there today. I was like, man, I'm hungry, and I've been trying to eat a little bit healthier. So I was like, I'm gonna grab some eggs. I'm like, what the hell? It looked like a to-go container, almost like maybe some, sauce or queso or something. So I pull it out. It's a freaking thing of worms. The kids were fishing, so they were like, oh, got to put the worms in the fridge so they don't die. And I was just like, cool. I mean, there wasn't a mess, thankfully. It was a very good container, but that's a pretty goddamn weird thing to have in your fridge. But we do have, the kids are all into fishing. So I told them, listen, if you don't go use these worms, we're going to put them outside here pretty quick because I don't want them in my food.
No, 100%. Went for vacation for 10 days, came back, and we paid a lady to clean our house while we were gone because I didn't want it. The worst thing to do when you come back from vacation is have to clean.
Yeah.
But I did go through my refrigerator, and I noticed one of the items in my refrigerator was my favorite salami.
Ooh.
That my wife had pushed it so far back into the fridge that the top had come off.
Oh, no.
And this salami is the driest piece of big old thing that is now shriveled up in size piece of meat you've ever seen. I was like, wait, what if I rehydrate it? No, it tastes like refrigerator is what it's going to taste like.
Yep.
So that's what's in my fridge, and I was depressed, so I ordered Jimmy John's.
Well, that's solid. I was sitting there and I was like, all right, so not only do I want, not these worms on my eggs, but eggs, I was like, I want some hot sauce. So I grabbed one bottle. I'm like, damn, for some reason, I don't know what it is. All the hot sauce bottles, it's like the dates wear off quicker than any other goddamn bottle I've ever seen. So I get it. So now it's to the point where I'm like, I don't really think hot sauce goes bad per se.
Holy shit, this one went bad in July. I just bought this.
See, at least you can see it. But so I keep them in the fridge a lot of times. You know what I mean?
You mean it gets wiped off? Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, like wiped off, probably from the condensation and just so this was just like 3 or 4 different hot sauces, and I'm like, I know they're probably bad, but are they really bad? I mean, it's just what, vinegar and some, like, do they must go bad, but like probably not going to make you super sick bad. But I had 3 different ones. Couldn't read the date on any of them, so I went by which ones still look the most red. It's a weird game to play, right?
It is a weird game to play, but to your point, the biggest thing with condiments usually is this conversation I have with my wife of, do you keep it in the fridge or does it not be refrigerated? Well, if it says, please refrigerate after opening, follow that law. But with condiments, it's more of it's not going to go bad. It is going to change color and flavor. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be potent. But I do want to give a shout out also.
Hell yeah.
If I could.
Absolutely.
To Walmart. Now, say what you want about Wally World, but what they've done, and I'm not going to show, well, I will show this brand because I love this brand of hot sauce. Yellowbird. I don't know if you've ever had Yellowbird.
I have not.
It's actually really decent. Their brand is great. This one's habanero. Walmart has started selling these dollar hot sauce containers. Now, this is about the size of a beard oil container, maybe a little bigger. How many ounces? It is 2.2 ounces.
Okay. Yep.
So, but the reason this is great is because how many times have you gone to a grocery store and you see 50,000 fucking hot sauces and barbecue sauces and you're like, which one is going to be good? Mm-hmm. Well, you don't have to commit to $5 now. You can commit to getting $1, and I got like 6 of them. And I'm like, I got $6 for the hot sauce. These are amazing. I mean, this is great.
And they still
not for everybody.
Yeah, they got the $6 out of you. You were going to buy one bottle for probably $6. You bought 6 of them. They're still getting you. It's brilliant.
So, but also, I mean, I just mean from a consumer point, like as a hot sauce and condiment guy, I love trying different sauces. And if I find a good hot sauce and I'm like, ooh, this is going to be good with chicken, or this is going to be good with steak, or this is going to be, I love it. And so when I can find and hunt down a good sauce, I try to. And this is a great way to do it.
So if you see the sauce, will you sometimes be like, okay, I'm going to buy this sauce, and since I bought this sauce, now I'm going to go buy this meat, then I'm going to buy this because I know all of this, like that habanero that you were just showing, that's a unique hot sauce. Like, that's not going to go on everything.
No. Yes, I went to a barn festival. You talked about barns. A festival that was actually, it was in a barn, and a big-ass renovated barn, just beautiful place. Like, when I say big, I'm talking like probably 5,000 or 6,000 square feet. So there's this. They had a bunch of different vendors come from around the country. One of them was a barbecue place out of Mississippi, and they made this ranch that was just. I got a bottle of it upstairs. I'll have to show it. I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
Out of this world.
Really?
Like, it is spicy, but not spicy. Like, flavorful and spiced and just beautifully done. But it reminded me of a Reuben. Ooh. It wasn't quite Thousand Island, but like I was thinking to myself, this would be good on a Reuben. So I went out and I bought rye bread, and I bought sauerkraut, and I bought corned beef, and of course I'm a cheese guy, so I gotta have cheese on mine. I bought provolone.
Yeah. And
I made Reubens because of this one barbecue sauce. So yes, 100%.
And was it better, you think, than the Thousand Islands?
I spent like $50 on everything, but I had Reuben sandwiches for like 3 days.
I mean, the local place that I go to, Route 68 Deli, up the road from me, like, I've lived in the country, to be able to have fresh, hot food within 2 miles is a huge deal in a small town. And they make a killer Reuben. And you go up there, and like you said, you get Reubens, chips, and a pickle, and you're still probably $15, $20. You know what I mean? So like you said, if you had a whole bunch of them for $50, that's not bad. But I do have to tell you this. I don't think I'm going to say the name of it, but I've been chatting with a hot sauce company. Okay.
Ooh.
And the guy is bearded. He came from the beard world, used to do some freestyle beards and stuff. Has a hot sauce. It's award-winning. It was even on this show that you might have heard of called Hot Ones. They had a hot sauce on season 23 of Hot Ones. And I was like, listen, man, I got a dude that loves hot stuff. I said, I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to it. I can't do hot between my stomach. He goes, I got something for everybody. So I said, why don't we find a day? We'll get them on the show. We'll just do our Stay Out of the Fridge. We'll chat. We'll try some hot sauces, and we'll just have a good time with them. So within the next couple of weeks, we'll put out an episode with this company. Should we tell them who it is, or should we make them wait?
I think teasing's fun.
Yeah?
Maybe we should tell them. I don't know. What do your call?
I don't care. All right. So I'll tell you this. Let's do a little fun, and we'll tell you next week if they're not on yet. You guys can go to my Instagram, and you can see somebody that I follow, and it starts with SAM, and they do hot sauces. I love the logos. I love the variety of them, the website and everything. So we're going to get them on here. I even have 18 mutuals on the Instagram with this company. So we're going to get them on. We'll find a day that works. And like I said, I'm super excited. He said he's going to send some hot sauce to the boys. So obviously I'll send you the site, find a couple, or if you just want like a blind package of what he thinks is the best. And we're going to get them on here. Have some fun with it. Like I said, try some hot sauces and just have a fun conversation with somebody a little different. We don't usually do interviews, but when a guy like that wants to come on and it fits our passion and the brand with the Stay Out of My Fridge, we're going to have this guy's hot sauce in our fridge or on our desk.
Love it.
So, all right, well, we'll get out of here. We both got some busy days. Brandon, appreciate the hell out of you, man. Hopefully you had a good vacation, and sorry you have to go back to work like the rest of us. That's some of the worst. And Yuban, love you, brother, and hopefully you're feeling better soon, and hopefully you're back here soon. But if not, we'll be holding it down, and we're not going to send you any of the hot sauces. Can't have that going on in your tummy. So that's all I got. I don't know if you got anything else.
I got nothing. Stay safe and be good.
Hell yeah, and don't put a bunch of worms in your fridge. Hopefully they don't like eggs. But either way, we'll see you guys next week. Be good to your wieners. Keep your sticks on the ice. Goodbye.
Buckle up tight. It's gonna be alright. We're diving deep into your fridge where secrets hide. Mysteries of leftovers, the wonders inside. From moldy sandwiches to ancient yogurt jars, we